Hey guys, welcome back to another video of working on the John Deere B. So, as you saw in my last one, I was working on getting the carburetor, air intake, all that kind of stuff, exhaust put back into it. And if I remember right, I said I was going to begin to start shaking out on the wiring. And so I want to take and pop this flywheel cover here off right quick. Take a look and see what I'm working with inside. I've had this off, probably back, I don't know, maybe back in the winter. Something like that. But that's back when I was working on pulled the head off the engine and that kind of thing. Trying to get all my bolts put down, my little seat. Now let's see here, got one more down there on the bottom. And then a top corner one. But this is what covers up the flywheel. There we go. And of course you get the older style Bs. This here is either a 51 or a 52. I'm not sure which, because I've had several people tell me that 51 and 52, the last 2 years that they made these, they made them with a square axle. And this here has a square axle. And yep. But I'm not sure exactly what year this one here is, because the serial number plate is all dug up and I can't read all the numbers. But like I say, the older Bs though had just a big flywheel right here that you'd spin to start it by hand. Whereas this one here is electric start. Let's see here, I forget, I had to take that thing off. Okay, I'm gonna take that top piece off. I'm trying to remember exactly how I know I've had this off. Okay, yeah, there we go. I gotta take this top piece off. Because this here's your starter button. Step down that and it makes the connection to the starter. Okay, that's got that thing. Should be able to tip that out just like that. Okay, there's the flywheel. Keep that thing back there for right now. And the starter is down on the bottom, if I remember right. Yeah, right there it is. I'll take you off the top of my head, and there we are. I can hold it better by hand. Okay, right there's the starter. Now, the thing I gotta figure out is, where does all the wiring go to? Right here's the battery cable going down. Okay, looks like I got to take that cover off to access the starter. Huh. Yeah, Nothing new. Leave it to John Deere to make everything complicated. And this is why, personally, I would never have a John Deere combine, because I have helped my neighbor work on his before, and I honestly believe they have somebody sitting around in a drawing room somewhere trying their best to figure out the hardest way possible to make something, and then they pick that way. And that's been my experiences with John Deere combines. Performance-wise, they're great. But when it comes to working on them, they're the hardest machine, because the way they literally build the thing together. And so it's all about like a big bowl of spaghetti. It's all wrapped together, and you gotta try and unwrap the entire thing to do a 15-minute project. I've had several of the guys tell me the exact same thing, that they switched from green over to red machines for that very reason. Okay, there's the connecting rod. Well, you know what? I may have to jump up underneath here and pop this cover off, that way I can see better. Because I got wiring coming down. Well, there's the big battery cable going down. There's a secondary wire. And of course, all that's going to be set up for the 6-volt system, which I do not want. Everything is going to be 12. Okay, well, left hand exhaust open. Not exactly sure what all that means. After all, this is the first little 2-cylinder I've ever messed with, so kind of a learning curve for me as well. But it appears that the wiring goes down and goes in there to the starter. Because you can see that right there's the battery cable. I sure would like to replace that. Okay, I'm gonna grab my creeper and come up underneath here, and I'm gonna drop this cover here off. Let's see what's inside there. I have you on my tripod. Well, I can work underneath here with both hands. Up, and the ratchet just smacked it. Let's kind of back it up a little bit. Let's go ahead and get this cover off. That way we can take a look up inside and see what all's in there. Taking out the last bolt now. Well, maybe easier just to take and swing that over. There we go. Okay, and right there is the starter. Let me see if I can show you on camera very well. Yeah, wrapping that hole. And of course, right there's the button. That way, when you push that switch, it shows that button in. Looks just, basically looks just like what's on my old WD. Try and get rolled up underneath here a little bit farther. There we go. Okay, wiring. Okay, I see. That is a Delco starter. I can see a little name tag right there. Now, actually, let's see here. If I could, I'd have to trace the wire up. I could actually take and cut that wire up on the top side, since that's already run down here. Because I mean, you can see it looks old, but it don't look bad or anything. And connect that maybe to my single wire alternator. Now, I'll just have to see what happens here. But at least that's got it open. Now I can see what I have to work with. All right, I'm back up on top here. Of course, the battery sits underneath the seat. Here's your positive cable. And it goes down out through here and then under this floorboard piece. Thing is though, you're not going to get that thing off there too easy, because it appears that the only thing that holds it on are like these two big screw heads. Well, you know as well as I do, them are going to be so froze up you can't get them out. And then it comes down under here, around, up underneath, runs forward, and back down to the starter where I just showed you. And if that cable is in good shape, I wouldn't mind using it, but to tell you the truth, that just does not look very good. Looks like it's got like breaks and insulation there. In fact, right here, well, yeah, I can see wire showing right there. And so what I may end up doing is taking and kind of doing a reroute. And, well, I'll take the old battery out. Now, one thing, I thought that this here was a positive ground, because that's what all your older tractors were, positive ground, and then negative went to the starter. But this one here is actually hooked up positive going to the starter, just like normal. And so I don't know. This battery, it does have the number 7 picked out right there, and so I'm guessing it was put in back in 2007. But probably what I'll do is get a new battery cable and run down and either come out right here, or depending on how it's set up inside, or come out right here. And so you just run right down, then just feed it right down through here and up, because I'm not taking that floor pan off. The problem is though, up here by the flywheel, that goes down behind there, and you're not going to be able to see it. But then okay, I see it. It's going through a hole right there in the side of the casting. I don't know how well you can see up in there. You can kind of see it coming down right there at the end of my finger. However, it's so tight up in there with the starter that it almost looks like I'm going to have to take and pull the starter out in order to take that cable out. No shock there. And so I'm going to take this bracket here off. And so I'll be bringing you in and out as I keep trying to get this thing here opened up. All right, I just took this cover here off. I didn't realize that opened up into the crankcase. You can see the crankshaft down there. Then I had to get my vacuum. Sure, I had a little dirt fall down there in the bottom. But thankfully I got all the oil out of it, so it's nice and dry. But I had to take that off because it was covering these wires up. And so this white wire is the one that you've seen on the starter. And now that wire appears to be in good shape. and it comes up and hooks on back here. So what I'll probably end up doing is cutting it right there, and simply just tying on from there, and then just run right on up to my alternator. This black wire, from what I can find, it goes back along through here and goes back to that back light there on the back of this battery box. And so right now I'm working on getting this. This is the tie down that holds that battery cable in place. Right down there. Get that loosened up. And then all I know is I'm going to have to take and separate this pivot right here and pull that starter out in order to take and get that cable out of there. So sounds like a fun job. Okay, I'm taking a bolt out right here that holds like a little tab thing that wraps around the wire. Once I can get that bolt popped out, yep, it just dropped out. There we go. Okay, there's that piece when I got popped off the wire. Like I say, this white wire, that's still good, so I'm gonna actually plan on using that and have that tied into the charging part of the new alternator. Now that old battery cable, good luck trying to get that thing even out of there. Probably what I'll have to end up doing is simply just taking and cutting it off right there, and probably just leave that part cut off down inside that battery box. Or if I can get it pulled back that way somewhere and maybe cut it off back here at this corner, that way I can run the new cable up. But I'm not going to sit there and fight trying to get that plate piece taken up. Okay, that's got that piece all done. Like I say, I'm going to disconnect it on the starter and see if I might be able to pull that cable up and out of there. We'll see. It appeared to be kind of tight up against the sidewall between the starter. So we'll see what happens. Okay, well, I'm back underneath here now. Let's see if we can get this thing loosened up. There we go. Maybe a socket. I keep bumping the camera, that's why it's shaking. Okay, there's that old wire. I guess it. Well, that might go out without without needing to drop the starter. I sure do hope so. That'd be a pain. Try and get that straightened back up. You can see though, it looks like this end's been crimped on there. All right, I think I'm gonna have to jump back up on top. That way I can actually take and pull on it. Okay, let's see if we can pull that thing up. Ugh. Getting closer, I thought. Might have hung on something down below, I'm not sure. Okay, I think what's happening is that clamp piece is getting caught. Maybe that's why it was clamped on beforehand. Well, maybe they fed the cable through, then clamped the end on down below. Okay, well, I'm gonna see if I can grab my channel locks and maybe a screwdriver to take and open that piece up and just take that clamp off the end down there. Let's see if we can get this wire pulled back down. There we go. Trying to get that thing opened up might be easier said than done. Yeah, right there, that piece on the end, it's crimped on there. Okay, well, what I may end up doing is taking and simply cutting that off. I think that'd be easier than trying to open that up. Let's see if these bolt cutters can cut that wire or not. Oh boy, that's tough stuff. Okay, it cut part way through anyway. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, there it is. I don't know how well you can see that. I may see if I actually just have to see what's available for battery cable and see if I actually can open that end up, because it may be easier to feed a new cable down with no end on it and actually put this back on. I'll just have to see. Okay, let's get that off. Now let's see if we can pull it back up. Now let's see how well it pulls up. Hey, there we go. All right, there's the end. Perfect. Like I say, it goes underneath this. Let me see if I can take and lower you down some. I got you back on my tripod now. It goes underneath there. There's what appears to be like another bracket thing that's got it kind of tied in somehow. Let me get my light. Okay, I think I can open that bracket up with a screwdriver. And like I say, I'm just going to take and bend the wire back over here. I'm just going to cut it right there. My new battery wire, I'm just going to bring right down and run right out. Whole lot simpler. Maybe I'll use this little pry bar instead to pry that down. You just kind of do it like that. Oh, there you go. And right there is why I'm replacing this. You can see some, I'll get the camera pointed at, right there. Got some copper showing, and so yeah, that cable needs replaced. That's why I say I just didn't trust it. And so, okay. I see we got another clamp right there. So I'm going to try and pull that back and then cut it. Well, let's see if we can get that popped out. Well, maybe a little bit more. Okay, yeah, that camera on the tripod's right smack dab my way. Y'all might end up getting put back on top of my head. That way I can move this tripod. Well, I think I'm going to grab my bolt cutters and cut that line right about there. Now, let's see if we can get that cut. There we go. All right, that's got it. Now I can take and just simply pull that forward. Okay, that's got that old cable out there. Now I just gotta take and lay that out. I want to measure that piece. I'm going to jump up here on top. One thing I did find out, I thought with the number 7 being picked out right there, when I bought this thing, the way that lady had talked, that her husband had run the thing way back years ago, I just assumed that stood for 2007. However, just a little bit ago, I happened to notice a sticker right here on the side, and it says shipped December 2016. And so I'm assuming it's definitely a run 2017. So that 7 right there stands for 2017, which is good. I mean, it hasn't sat since 2007 or 8, but of course it had all that gas that went right down into the crankcase. And in fact, now that I got that hole off right there, it smelled like gas in that whole area because all the oil had gas in it. But okay, I want to see here if I can get this cable here popped off that battery and get that battery popped out. Like that right there is already loose, that ground one. I hate these old 6 volts. Okay, I took you back off the tripod and put you on top of my head. That way it's a whole lot easier that way to film. Man, stuck on there. Okay, that's got the old cables disconnected. Okay, let's see if we can get that old battery out. There we go. That cable should have been replaced a long time ago. That thing is junk. Got a few wood blocks down there. Huh. I don't know, I may leave them in, may take them out. I mean, it does give the battery something to sit on instead of just steel riding around down there. Okay, yeah, there we are, shipped 2016. So we'll get this old battery down out of here. Put him over here on the back of the golf cart. And now let me get my light. Take a look down in there. Huh. It's got like a wiring conduit type thing wrapped around that. Kind of odd. Okay, right there you can see where the cable goes to that front hole right there. Perfect. I'm gonna get up on the front, chop it in two, and that's probably how I'll route the new cable right down to that hole, and then right around here, since I'm not taking that plate off, as you can see, you are not going to get them old screw heads out of there. And so I'm just going to take and cut that wire right there. There we go. There's that thing. Now all I gotta do is just take and just measure everything out. I'll just take and measure right across here, and that'll give me an approximate idea of how long of a new cable I need. Okay, now there's the ground. Now, surprisingly, that one looks good. So I might replace the ground, I might not. Looks like it just hooks onto a stud. Now right there's a couple of draw bolts on one on each side. I'm guessing the old battery used to have some kind of like a clamp deal that would tie it down. But apparently it's gotten all rotted out. That's why it's got these blocks in there. But it's down inside there, it can't go anywhere. And like I say, I'll just have to see. The end's still good. I may chop it out and put a new bolt in. But yeah, cable's still good. Okay guys, well I'll tell you what, now that I got that all out of there, I want to take and let's see here. I need to get me a new battery cable to go down to the starter, and then I can start running a line from that back up for my coil and that kind of stuff. I've also got to get an alternator lined up to go around over here on this side, and for running my single wire back. And like I say before, that's why I want to do this before I put the gas tank and hood back on, because then you have no way to access it. If I have it all out here in the open, it's a whole lot easier to work on. And so I am going to take this wire here, since it's still good, and actually use this as part of my single wire coming off of my new 12-volt alternator. And so I'll just be, that looks like oh, that's heavier wire. That looks about like a 12 gauge wire right there. And so I'll just get a another piece of 12 gauge, run off the alternator back, and just take and connect them together. And then same thing, I'll run a wire down to the starter, or from the starter up, and then probably take and replace one of these knobs here with a simple toggle switch, and then another wire from the toggle to the coil until somebody turn the coil on and off. So I'm going to call that an end of this video. So take care. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you next time.